Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Let's go!
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, behavior, that's a lifelong dream goals.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Everyone, I'm Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
And you're listening to Here to Help Matters here on Jackie and Patrick podcast.
Good morning. Good morning. This is the day the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. Yes.
So, Patrick, we're almost at the end. Well, we are at the end
Yeah, we're at the end
of
of
a year. I mean, internet. I mean, wow.
This is the last day of the year. But listen, we want you to join us every Saturday right here at 9 a.m. as we bring you relevant information pertaining to your health and well-being.
That's right.
We'll have healthcare professionals and other professionals on the show to assist us in helping you to be the best you that you can be as it pertains to your health and your wellness.
That's absolutely, guys. So go ahead. You know what to do. Go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, Help Matters, and with Jackie and Coach. And go to Facebook page and like Get Fit with Jackie Fitness. We would like for you to be a part of this awesome podcast.
All right. So this is the last day in December, Jackie. I think
Mhm.
Robert McDaniels is celebrating a birthday, right?
Yes. Happy birthday, Robert
Well, this
McDaniel.
is not the last day because we got one more day tomorrow.
Yes, we do. A day and a half.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Rob. Enjoy your day, man.
Absolutely.
And they're also celebrating a wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary, 40 years.
Deborah and Robert McDaniel. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Keep the fire burning and
Absolutely.
keep becoming one.
We
Keep
had a
becoming
lot
one.
of birthdays.
A lot of birthdays.
Yes, this month we did. We had
Okay.
lots of birthday. I think Jeremy, Petway, Houston,
Okay.
Texas, our nephew celebrated birthday.
We had some heavenly birthdays. My mom, my dad.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, anniversary. Our my sister-in-law, Brenda Elliott
Yeah,
and
happy
Tony Elliott.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Probably about 60-some years now.
They well above 50. I know that.
Oh, they way above it.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I
They've
mean,
been an inspiration to
I'm
us.
telling you, you don't
us.
get to that many years without perseverance.
That's
and
right.
just
Compromise,
compromising,
understanding.
and a lot of
We're imperfect
uncomfortable
people.
moments, but we persevere and we move through it.
We're imperfect people.
Coming together, becoming
Becoming one.
one. That's
That's
what
right.
the Bible said. Becoming one.
That's right.
Wow, guys.
So,
Well, good
Jackie.
morning, Scream Yard, our live people, wherever you're coming from, either is Facebook or YouTube. Guys, we thank you for joining us on Saturday mornings, and we appreciate your time and that you put in to come on here to get information pertaining to your health and well-being, because your health does matter, and it
Yes, it
matters to
does.
Coach and I, and it
Yes, it does.
first of all, it matters to God.
Most definitely. And listen, while 2024 is coming up, it's going to be
Woo-hoo!
hosted by our very own Jackie Dennis, because this her vision, Women On in Wellness, and we're going to be holding it in Aiken. And listen, we want you to come out. Augusta, come out. Columbia County, come out. Richmond County, come out. Burke County,
Right.
come out. All the counties. If you're in the CSRA, we want you to come out. We're going to be on the USC Aiken campus, February the 10th. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Got a lot of great things lined
Right.
up for you.
Awesome doctors.
Jack is bringing a lot of doctors together in the CSRA to give you a wealth of knowledge as it pertains to women's health and well-being.
And we're not forgetting about the men's. Coach got something brewing up in his
Yeah, we
sleeve.
got something coming. We got something
He
coming.
got something brewing. God gave him something. But listen, guys, ladies, let's come together. This theme this year is let's unite and ignite.
Unite
know.
to ignite.
Yes,
Yeah.
women wellness, bringing awareness of women health and well-being, guys, because we want to navigate through this thing called age, and it's not just for the seasonal women, it's for younger women,
That's
so
right.
we can help you
Right.
know how to navigate through this as you age. So we
That's
want to
right.
kind of make it a little bit more, you know, easier for you.
That's right.
So you have that knowledge now. I wish I had someone to give me this wealth of knowledge as I was young, So let's come on out and gain this wealth of knowledge on women's health in all areas, and just let's glean. Um, from the doctors that is on the panel, and we will be coming. And registration is open. People are registering, guys,
Most
and
definitely.
that's awesome. Yay! And
Yeah.
also, we want to thank Dr. Besson for God putting this on her heart to call us, email us, and ask us to bring this here. And we just tell you, God hand is all in it. And that's all that matters. And he is doing the incredible and phenomenal. And we just gonna be obedient and follow the directions that he is taking and just trusting him in this process.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Listen, to register, you can go to womenowningwellness.com. Womenowningwellness.com, and you can register for the event. And you can also get more information on the event at on that website also. But listen, to be a sponsor, a partner, a friend of this broadcast, you can call 706-592-8862. We would love for you to help us to do what we do right here every Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
And we welcome your views and opinion. And guys, we talked about, we started the conversation last week about forgiveness and the act of forgiveness, and we're going to be talking about the process,
Yep, yep,
part
yep.
2 of forgiveness,
It's gonna
because
be
it is
good.
a process. It is a process, and we all know. But guys, we have a surprise guest that's gonna pop in on the phone, and they're gonna share their wealth of knowledge,
This is
and
gonna be good. I
it's
know
gonna
it
be
is.
good. So you guys, you don't want to miss this. So you need to go ahead and like and share and get on here, because you're going to want to hear this, and we got to let go before 2024. We
Right.
got to release some things, guys. There's some things that we are attached to, or some situations and circumstances and things that we're holding on to, the what ifs or shoulda, coulda. We got to let that stuff go before 2024. We want to get those things, and we want to get it moving. We don't start the process of it. Yes. Good morning, Deborah Watkins. But that's our tune for Help Matters Happening. That's when we take a moment to bring you relevant information that pertains to your health and your well-being.
All right. So this morning's Help Matters happenings is about fireworks safety, right? Because we know a lot of people will be participating in that on tomorrow night as we welcome in the new year. But if you're planning to shoot off fireworks to ring in the new year, there are some important things to remember to keep you and your pets safe. Fireworks can be a source of fun, danger, and even fear for some humans and animals. So if you're doing fireworks New Year's night, take a little time to step back to make sure you're doing it safely so you can enjoy them and not have any unfortunate accidents. Ensure that your children are taught to keep a distance from fireworks, shoot fireworks from a level and clear area. Make sure that you have various equipment available should an accident occur so you can extinguish a fire. That may be a fire extinguisher, that may be a water hose, but make sure it's close on hand. And in conclusion, be mindful of those experiencing PTSD and pets that can get frightened by fireworks and loud noises. Some ways to keep them as comfortable as possible may be to put them in a bedroom, a closet, someplace calm, or playing music or having the TV on. Something that may distract them may be a good idea during this time if you are suffering from PTSD or if you have pets. This has been your Help Matters happenings.
Yes. And Coach, I want to talk about some in my morning devotion. It was all about acceptance, and it comes from Proverbs 19 and 8. To get wisdom is to love oneself, to keep understanding is to prosper. And it's read, if you can accept yourself, you will probably be more readily able to accept others. If you are patient with yourself, you will almost certainly be more tolerant and toward your loved ones and others. If you have learned to forgive yourself, you're likely to find you can more easily forgive someone else. Self respect increases as you stay committed to gaining a heart of wisdom. This attitude splashes onto others' relationships, and acceptance gradually becomes a way of life.
That's good. That's
Yes,
good. You know, and forgiveness is for us, Jackie.
it
You know,
is.
and it requires an intentional decision to let go of resentment, to let go of anger. You know, something that hurt or offended you might always be with you, but forgiveness lessens that grip it has on you. And
Right.
that's what's important, because when you wallow in unforgiveness, it could cause some physical, unhealthy things to happen in your body.
Emotional,
Yeah,
physical.
breaks down relationships. So yeah,
It
it's so
hinders your
important to
progress.
practice forgiveness.
And that's why it is a process.
Mhm.
It's a process, so, and the act of forgiveness. We talked about not
A
last
couple of
Saturday,
weeks
just a
ago.
couple of
Mhm.
weeks ago
Mhm.
before Christmas, and now before we going into this new year, this new time, we want to just kind of clean the slate. We're not saying you're going to forget it, it's going to go away, but at least
Forgive.
you're in the process.
Right.
I'm putting some action steps in place. I'm
Right.
putting some things in place so I can walk this thing out. And we got to practice those things. Just like you say, you got to put these things into practice till it becomes a way of life.
Most
And
definitely.
that's different for each person, coach.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That is different for each person, because each person is wired differently.
Mhm.
So, guys, we welcome your views and opinions. So you can be glad to share some of your experiences, or about forgiveness, your process of forgiveness, and how you had to walk this thing out. And that walk is that process,
Right.
putting these things to practice. It's hard because that flesh will fight you tooth and nail.
Most definitely.
And,
But let me set this up a little bit though, Jackie, because you mentioned we talked about forgiveness a couple of weeks ago, and we talked
Mhm.
about kind of like three types of forgiveness, which is Dr. Marmer from UCLA had covered. It was exoneration, forbearance, and release. Those three types of forgiveness. We talked about how exoneration is pretty much just wiping the slate entirely clean and restoring the relationship. In this situation right here, you accept their apology and you offer complete forgiveness, because the relationship is important to be repaired and continue to move forward. Then we talked about forbearance, or forbearance types of forgiveness, where you apply this type of forgiveness when someone makes a partial apology or mixes blame that you somehow caused them to behave badly. Jackie, I've done it. I'm pretty sure you probably done it. Where, well, if you wouldn't have done this or you wouldn't have said this, I wouldn't.
Action to
So,
reaction kind of a
so
thing.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so you could exercise forbearance in the relationship if it matters to you. The relationship is important. The relationship needs to be maintained. So you got to apply some forbearance in that relationship, right? So by using forbearance, you are able to maintain those ties to people who you are still important to you. We may have to forbear with family,
Absolutely.
church family,
Those that are close to you.
biological family,
That's where the hurt
longtime
come
friends.
the most. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And that's why we have to cast in our cares upon God, because He cares, because we can't carry it, like our pastor say, you can't carry this.
Mhm.
You gotta cast it.
Right.
If we go and take it to the altar and we cast it, we can't get back up and carry it.
Right.
You got to allow the process. You got to allow the process to work.
Right. And let me get at that third type, which was release. All right. So it was exoneration, forbearance, and third type that we talked about was release. And release is what you do when the person doesn't even acknowledge, that they've done anything wrong, or gives an
Right.
insincere apology.
Yeah.
All right. But you just have to release those. You have to learn how to release
Yeah.
those.
And guys, we got our special surprise pop-in guest with us this morning. No other than Dr. Michael our apostle of Restoration Ministry International, Mitchell
Good
here.
morning, Pastor. Good morning, Dr. B. Are you guys on the line?
And Dr. B. Dr. B there?
She have a phone anymore. She's about to leave. She might
Okay.
step in for a
Awesome.
second.
All right.
while we're-
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we was just kind of setting it up, Pastor, and we was talking about what we had talked about a couple of weeks ago. We had just had opened the door up about forgiveness, and we had talked about the three types: the exoneration, the forbearance, the release. Just depends on the importance of the relationship. But we really want to jump into the process of forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
And because this is an important element. communication. And you talked about communication in one of your services on last Sunday, and how it's so important to speak openly and honestly, with an intent to come to a mutual agreement so that we can reach that win-win situation, which oftentimes requires compromise.
No doubt about it. Y'all are right in the ballpark because that process is so critical and it's not to be ignored. I think one of the things that came out of that service was like unforgiveness when you hold it. It's like drinking poison,
Wow.
expecting somebody else to die.
Wow.
And one of the things that came out of that, because we heard that as a statement that had been made for a while, but it was the idea that the poison don't start out as poison. It start out as a bitter taste in your mouth.
Mm.
Deal with that bitter taste, that bitterness builds up, and it turns into poison. And it's not destroying the other person, it's destroying you. So when you think about it, forgiveness overall, there is sort of like a process to doing it, especially when relating to people. A lot of times it's right there at your house. It's the spouse's relationship, the parent-children relationship, or your close associate relationship where things build up and not get dealt with, as you mentioned, communication. So here's a process that people can think about. Well, how do I respond to a situation where there's a need to get some forgiveness cleared up? One is accepting. That is acknowledging the reality of the situation and accept the fact that it's causing you pain.
Right.
Sometimes, depending on how the life were growing up, you get used to taking pain. You get used to just tolerating stuff, and because you don't feel a way out. Therefore, you learn how to just behave like it's not there when it actually is there. And so accept that this is not good. It is really painful, and somebody needs to know about this. So the second thing is empathy, is to understand the perspective of the person who caused the harm. I know for me, growing up, there was a lot of things that, as you grow up and you become a man, you look back over it. And one of the ways I was able to overcome something was empathizing with the person, is to begin to see their pain. Because many times we hear this statement that hurt people hurt people. And so sometimes when you can emphasize and have compassion on someone, everything they do is not intended to hurt you. Everything that happens is not intended to be bad. And sometimes people react on a moment. So when you can empathize with them, it helps you to also move on from forgiveness. Third one, which you just mentioned, is communication. To express openly and honestly and allow for dialogue. One thing for the person to come to you and talk. Other thing is to let them talk. And then you got to be willing to communicate. That way, things can be made clear. You got to be willing to hear what other people are saying. I think you already hit it, that when you hear what they are saying, then you can now process from an empathetic point of view, like not just hearing because I think you're coming at me. Now I want to put myself in your shoes and hear, understand what you are saying. The scripture said, with all you're getting, get an understanding. Well, communication is one of the great ways to get an understanding. But now when you have been hurt and situations have occurred, one of the process to respond to it is boundaries.
Yeah.
That is going forward. We have to set clear boundaries to prevent further harm and to rebuild trust gradually. And so sometimes people just come and say, forgive me, and they go on. Nothing really has changed. You know that, they know that. That won't help the situation long term. So boundaries are having to say, we got to think about the process, how we can rebuild our trust going forward. And sometimes you have to put barriers or boundaries in on that person and say, okay, I'm going to forgive you, but we got to do these things going forward.
That's so
The
good.
fifth part is really, really important, is that it's got to be patient, because people don't change overnight. Their behavior don't change overnight. Their idiosyncrasies don't change overnight. And what they just did and they said they're not going to do no more might not change overnight. The key is make sure they get it in their heart and you get their attention, that are you intentionally doing this, or you're doing it and then you have to catch yourself. So being patient with them, forgiveness is a process. And be patient with yourself and be patient with the others involved. And I got a few more points on this. Number 6 is self-reflection. That is, reflect on your own personal growth, your own lesson learned, and your own experiences, because it's possible to quickly get offended and over something one person doing today that really may not have much to do with them. It could be other stuff that other people did long ago that anybody that go close towards that trigger a response from you. So you have to reflect on yourself at times too, saying, am I overreacting, or am I having the need to get them to apologize for me for stuff that may just be my emotions?
Mm,
And so self-reflection helps us find that. And
that's
then
good.
seven is the apology itself. Uh, Apologies are critical. Some people apologize but don't say nothing to people. They say, I forgave you because I came back to the table and ate with you. I forgave you
Wow.
because I rode in the car with you.
Yeah.
But that person needs to hear it, and they need to hear it from a heart that cares. They
Yes.
won't, okay, I apologize. Well, everybody know you didn't really mean that. You said the words,
Wow.
but it didn't get mixed with your heart. So a sincere apology is a critical step in the healing process. And then, of course, we're going to be rebuilding trust. Consistently demonstrate trustworthiness through action over time. We've all had people that we offended, and we've all been offended. And if you had to live with people or be around people all the time that offended you, you know, that's a sort of a process, especially if it happened more than once, that trust has to be rebuilt. But if you allow it, you can rebuild trust, and a relationship can actually be like a broken bone. You break a bone, if they mend it right, it becomes back stronger than it was before.
That's good,
Then number
Pastor.
9 is releasing resentment, letting go of the lingering resentment for true healing to take place. I always say, at this point I learned some years ago, when it comes to an offense, when it comes to somebody that hurt you, said when they offended you, here's how you get past it. You don't nurse it. You don't sit there and just wallow in it. You don't curse it. You don't just say, why me? Why is all what happened to me? You don't rehearse it. You don't go calling other people, telling them about the situation, but not talking to the person that did it. But you disperse it. You
Yeah.
actually want to release it. But in this case, we want to release it to God. Give the situation to God. Cast all your cares on Him. And when you disperse it, then He reverse it. But a part of the process they need to think about, I need to release the resentment, release the situation. Finally, commitment. We're going to commit to renewal of our relationship. Understand that it's an ongoing process, but we're working on it and getting better and better over time. And you probably can think of stories with people. There's a story told about two friends who had a rift in their relationship through a misunderstanding. That's usually where it comes from. So one of them felt betrayed, and the other was unaware that they had made an impact on them. And then after weeks of them being silent, they decided to meet and talk. And that's a good point. You find something that's shifting a relationship with somebody you know you've been a good friend with. You say you first you call them or reach out to them and say, can we sit down and talk? And that's what they did there. And when the person told them how they was feeling, like, wow, I didn't even know I did that to you. I'm so sorry. When they genuinely apologized and expressed remorse, they was able to set clear boundaries and commit to rebuilding their trust. So over time, they practiced empathy. They understood each other's perspective. And then they reflected on themselves and realized how important forgiveness was, and for themselves and their own well-being, as well as for the relationship. These two people today have a very good relationship.
Awesome.
And just even talking about their stories, I can remember stories in my own personal life. And it's that process there. Even though when you're in the process, you're not thinking about these 10 points. You're just sort of doing it. But you do always come to reflecting on yourself. You do always come to looking at another person's perspective. And then when you value relationship, you know it's worth the time spent building it again.
Right.
So I hope that can help somebody if they think that.
Oh, I know it did. Yeah.
Oh,
really
yes.
get through anything.
It helped me.
It helped me.
and as we get ready to move, through 2023
2024
into 2024. And so it's so important to operate in the things that you just said. So because there's so many things that we all can, forgive situations, people, or whatever it may be, so that we can move forward. And as you talked about, Pastor, the communication process is so very important.
And Pastor, you said two things that just really just stood out. Everything you said was awesome, but the two things, just understanding the act of forgiveness.
Yeah.
The understanding it, and then the process, and then you talked about practice. We got to put it into practice.
Yeah.
We got to practice
Action.
the thing. So just understanding the act of forgiveness and the why, and that's so. Oh gosh, that's so good. Understanding it.
And
Yes.
and some things I picked up too, Pastor, is like when we communicate, even when we communicate, we go into that meeting, we have to have rules for that part, for the communicating. We got to have rules that, hey, I'm going to give you permission and allow you that permission to speak openly and to speak honestly. And then commit to controlling your anger and getting out of control. And, even have rules for that. Okay, if one of us get angry, we have to walk away and come back to the conversation. But we're not going to allow anger or whatever overtake us communicating and being better.
Yeah, that's when you're doing it, it's that whole process. It's like how to have a good conversation. Those points right there that we decided we're gonna let the other person talk, even if we have to put something in their hands. So whoever got this, that person that has the floor. You got to be willing to listen, because when you're dealing with the same person, sometimes you have a tendency to just overtalk them. Just they talk, but you're really not here because you're so busy trying to get your point in. This requires empathizing and good communication skills. And part of the great communication skill is the one they don't teach on, and that's listening and just sitting still, letting the person talk, hearing their heart, and whether you think what you did, whether nothing or not, they think it was. And that's what you got to remember. To them, it was something.
That's so good, Pastor. That's why. So you mentioned about reflecting or examining yourself, and you have to do that. You have to reflect on whether that was a provocation on your part. What did I do, to cause where we're at right now, and be willing to submit, when you examine yourself and see that there is something that you may have done. And then in the process too, we want to control those feelings and emotions.
Yes.
I think that's so important. Don't dwell on things. Don't hold grudges, especially grudges. If you're husband and wife, me and Jackie, we can have some good disagreements. But if we plan to go to a movie and go to a dinner, listen, we're still going to do that. We're not going to allow that situation, that we haven't came into complete agreement with to dictate the rest of our day or to dictate, the rest of our life and how we treat each other.
Yes.
You know, if you ever see that movie, Lean on Me?
Yeah.
Where the principal and the superintendent got in a fuss, they were fussing it out. I'll be going at it. And finally, he said, when they finished all that, he said, now let's go to dinner.
Yes, I remember that. But Pastor, answer this. How do you, because you have some situation where a person just refused to change or say, I'm sorry and forgive. How do you move on from that? Because you got at some point, you got to be okay with that and move on. How do you move on from that when that person just not going to, they just not going to do it, and they just continue to repeat these same things over to you and continue to hurt you? But how do you handle that?
And that's why forgiveness is for you. Come on, Pastor.
Come on, I just want to hear it from my pastor.
It's for you. Like, you take the bitter taste out of your mouth. You're not gonna let it be poison you. You do everything you can. As we always say, when people reach situations, sometimes you have to rearrange relationship or reorder the relationship or redefine it. It's like, before this person was this to me, they are not going to change. I've tried and tried. And then you're still willing. You write them letters. Maybe they can't understand when you're talking to them, but they won't hear you. So sometimes you send them a text or a letter or e-blast, email or something. Say, maybe if they pull this letter, you pray from God, I'm going to send them this letter. I ask you that. Have a time where they read it, but with compassion. They read it to understand. Let my heart come through the message through that way. You try that. If that don't work, maybe you get other parties involved. Can we talk with somebody else in the room? If that don't work, then you might have to just redefine that relationship.
Right.
Wow.
Because
Right.
forgiveness is for you. Because
Right.
you can't make them. You can't make them be what you want them to be. You can't make them. You can only do your best to try to get them there. And once you've done everything you can do to please God, everything you can do that God's word and the wisdom you have can do, then you just got to put in patience and just continue on with your life, giving them room to return.
And
Because most of the behavior is coming from a place of hurt, and that's how I had to see it. They are acting out from a place of hurt,
Exactly.
and when you
That's
have,
why-
yeah, go ahead,
that's part of
Pastor.
Sympathizing with them, because they understand and reflecting on yourself and also reflecting on them. Sometimes you see they acting from a place of hurt. If they'll let you try to help them get past that hurt. If not, you turn it over to God and just have to maybe put some molecules between you and them for a while. You're not cutting them all the way off, but you got to save space for your own health.
That's
This is
good.
just making sure it's called health matters for your own health. Until they deal with that, I can't let them in my space for so much, and therefore when they come to my space, I got to prepare myself for it, and then limit that time where I can.
That's good. That's good. And that's why we talked about, when we talked about forgiveness a couple of weeks ago, we talked about those three types of forgiveness, because depending on the importance of the relationship, you may have to practice exoneration, where it's a true, sincere apology and you can move forward with the relationship, or you may have to apply forbearance, where the people is apologizing, but it tends to happen again. But because of that relationship, that person's in your family, that person's in your close quarters, you got to forbear with them until you can get to a place of exoneration where they really understand what's offending you and things of that nature. And what we just talked about is that type of release, where you just have to release that person, because when you don't release it, you allow that person that hurt you to live rent free. Pastor, you talked about this before, in your mind, as you relive this offense time after time after time again. And that person is gone on about their business, probably ain't thinking about you no more, but you're still holding these strongholds. And this thing is still affecting, what you're doing in your future state and your present state.
Yeah. And so that's that willingness part. There's some of it, if they're real close family, you might have willingness to bear pain.
Right. Forbear.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to, okay, I can't get rid of them, I can't vote. So I have to bear with them. That's what Paul writes in the New Testament, that part of how we walked out our Christian walk is we forbear one another. I mean, we put up with something with them.
Right.
And so it's just a part of tolerating them, and you know how to do that, and you put space between them on that.
Yeah.
That's
They
so
have
good.
willingness to change. Hopefully they'll be willing to change at some point. And so you see, even Paul, look at how great a man of God he was, but he fell out with Barnabas, fell out with Mark, great strife. He and Barnabas never got back together again on their spiritual team. Mark, he put him off the team, but years later, when he writed to Titus or one of them saying, make sure you bring Mark, for he's useful to me in ministry.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Sometimes it takes time for some people's eyes to come open.
Forbearance.
But you have to give them
Wow.
that God deal with it.
That is awesome.
That's
That is
awesome. And everybody's wired different, Pastor, and how they, handle, being offended and hurt, and how they can move through this. It's a lot of growth. It really is. It's a lot of uncomfortable situation, Coach. And I was talking about that this morning. It's being put in some uncomfortable situations where how do I maneuver through this, and how do I allow this experience to help me grow? And that's what I had to start doing, and you know me well, Pastor. You've been knowing me, been at Restoration almost 25 years, so you know me well. So I'm like, I'm just not, I don't want to be what I used to be. I want to be able to move through this. I want to be able to do this. And sometimes I was very hard on myself, but I had to learn that. I had to put this into practice, and I'm still moving through stuff today, but I'm better than what I was yesterday.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
good. That's good.
So
And
a lot of times now you can catch the situation, you can catch the emotions shifting on.
Right.
So
yeah,
you tell me you shift on it.
right.
And,
And
then we all got the process, I know some things God give us the strength to go on beyond it, but some things try to keep coming up, and you have to take the same process, run it over again.
same process.
Once you find the process that works, you can work it and work it and work it and work it and work it. And that's why Jesus gave us unlimited time to forgive. How many times
Woo.
did I release my brother?
Mm.
Matthew
7
18 and
times?
22.
70 times 7.
70.
One verse said in a day, which there's not enough time in a day to do that. And therefore, this is a part of the continual walk with God. Because how much God has to keep forgiving us? All the time.
All the
You know,
time.
And that's what I look at it.
All the time.
That's what I look at.
And that's why we have to lean on that fruit of the spirit, self-control, because we have to really control those feelings and those emotions.
Them
As I-
emotions,
yeah,
yeah.
as I stated earlier, you can't dwell on things, you can't hold grudges, you can't plan revenge. But yeah, you got to be watchful. You got to be watchful. I think the Bible mentions something about, you mark your enemies and things like that, but you got to be watchful. You got to be able to let things go. You got to be able to don't live in the past. And then you can't allow the events to take life in your life. It's an event. You know, let it be that an event has time and it has space in your life, right? So once you move past that time and space, you got to learn how to move past those uneasy, hurtful, painful events in your life.
And I think what Pastor, even when I asked, some of these things, you thought you didn't got over, and then you have a situation, and a lot of time is just a new situation, but it still bring back a old familiar
Strongholds. That's the
memory,
strongholds.
and it's like, okay, wow. I tend to tell people, watch the intensity of your body. Are you getting mad, or
Stressed out.
you just like, wow, I done been through this before. So you just said, as you said, now just start that process over again. Now it may be a little bit better than what it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like having a scar on the inside. I was changing clothes the other day, and it just happened to be, we got a lot of mirrors in our bathroom. I was at an angle that I saw it. And it was a cigar, like I hadn't thought about that thing for years. It's like, oh, I remember when that happened. And so these things are like inside scars. Every time done, then you got an inner mirror and you see it or you feel it like, oh, that came from, like the event is healed. It just got a scar there. It's like Jesus will be able to show you the nail prints of his.
Yeah.
It's like, and he don't walk around every day thinking about the cross, but every now and then, like, oh, that's in my hand because those nails that I took.
Oh, that's good.
Sometimes
Wow.
when those emotions come up, that got triggered because of that event. But praise God, it's healed. The
That's
scar
good.
is just as a reminder that it was once there.
That's good. So, Pastor, we've been having fun, and times flies when you're having fun. So we just want you to, Jackie, you got some comments?
Oh, no, Pastor
Okay.
can close us
Well,
out.
yeah, I just want you to share any, final comments that you may have as it pertains to the process of forgiveness, as it pertains to communicating, to be, to get to that place where you can forgive. Just share any final comments you'd like to share.
Yeah, the main thing is remembering when I'm walking with people, I'm walking with friends and family, to make it strong, to be able to get there, arrive where we're going, you just got to be willing to do some things. So, series on now. How do I gain and retain relationship or unity with people? I'm willing to submit. That is, no matter what I face, I'm going to submit to God, and in some cases, I'm submitting to others. I'm willing to serve. Ultimately, that I got to serve my brother, my sister, my spouse. I'm willing to support, and I want to be the support. Mean I'm the backbone. Somebody got to be the strong one. That's in every family. There's somebody who said his family, that person, the whole family rests on that. They like to support being of the family. So a relationship that are trying to be coming apart because of unforgiveness, then be the one willing to be like the support being. That I'm gonna do all I can to make this thing work. The willingness could be the case. That's what you got to know. Keep that one always in mind. The willingness to understand. As Jesus, the Bible tells us, with all you get an understanding. So when you're facing these situations, get an understanding of what's going on. The house is built by several different things. The understanding is a big part of it. If I can get an understanding of myself, understanding of the people in my life, understanding of what my brothers or sister may be going through, especially when we're dealing with forgiveness and apologies and all this, is when they apologize to me, especially if they did it from a pure heart, even though I don't like what you did, I don't think you had to do that. I knew you could have not done that. But I got to understand where they're coming from. That their faith, the Bible says we all face the same kind of trials and temptations throughout the whole world, the whole body of Christ. Nothing that is not coming to all of them. But if God would make a way for them to escape, I may be part of that way and understanding that process. And then the willingness to bear pain and the willingness to change. Changing, all of us change. And so we got to be willing to make the changes we need to make the process work.
That's good. That's good.
That is good. That's good.
Thank you so much for joining
helped
us
me.
on this morning, getting up early out your bed.
Thank you all for all that you do and how you're helping people. And as we close the year out, we just speak God's favor and blessing on everything you all are doing that's into this next year. Because believe it or not, more and more as we go forward, people are going to need more and more understanding in these health matters than they do right now.
Yes, sir.
And you see, it's not always physical help.
That's
Sometimes
right.
it's emotional help
Yes.
that it impact physical health. So if you hold unforgiveness, you're asking to become sick.
Wow.
That's good. That's
Wow.
good.
That's good.
Thank you so much, Pastor. We look forward to watch night on tomorrow night. Well, we got regular service first, and then we got watch night. So we're looking forward
I'm
to all of
excited.
the services tomorrow.
I'm
I do
excited.
too. Giving of everything. We're gonna release everybody and everything.
Everything we got to, we
Gotta
have
do
to
it.
move forward.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have to. God has really spoken to us, and He really want to give us so much moving forward. But we got to detach. We got to move forward.
I think people can leave this year with, don't take no unforgiving into the new year.
Yeah.
Let it all go.
Let it go.
Release it all.
Yeah, I
Forgive
think it was.
all.
I think it was prophesied in the service 2024. Let it go.
Let it go.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's good. I'm excited. It is really good. But Pastor, always a blessing to have you or First Lady here on the Help Matters podcast, and we're very grateful for you and First Lady for everything that you have imparted into our lives. You are part of how we are today, and we thank you for that because we allowed you into our lives and to help us move forward and become better people, better citizen, better followers of God. We just thank you for all you pour into God and you pour into us. We
sir.
thank you. It's not going unnoticed, and we're grateful for it every day
Thank you. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. You all are restoring lives.
In every area.
in every area.
All right, Pastor. You have a good day.
God bless you. Continue to do great things.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, guys, that was a great conversation. Guys, we got to let it go in 2024. You heard Apostle Mitchell, Dr. Mitchell talk about, it's for us.
Yes, it is.
We can't, that stuff can just physically just do things to us. And Dr. Dan talks about that. He said immediately when we have negative attitudes or when we're unhappy or we depressed, it suppresses the immune system. It breaks down the immune.
Them chemicals are.
And if you
build up
if
in your
you
system. Yeah.
can take that and understand the physical, just as much as important as it is the spiritual, but the importance of the physical, how it breaks down your immune system and your body when you hold unforgiveness in your heart.
Yes.
And we all fall short.
And that's why it's a process.
Yes, and we all have
It's a
something. If
process.
we can understand that, we can't control other people and how they treat us and how they react and respond, but we can ask God to help give us the empathy and the understanding of how, yes, our immediate reaction, we want to go back off and say something, and you have to do that in your own family.
Right. That's the flesh. I mean, the flesh is always going to rise up.
I'm saying something. You have to do that in your own family. You have to have some boundaries going into even your children, or even your sisters, your siblings. You have to have some boundaries and say, okay, how God help me to have this conversation, or how to maneuver this conversation without stirring up, because certain things that you can say can trigger something in the other person they have not forgiven or have not dealt with. Right. So you have to know where you can be cautious and moving in this and say, okay, don't bring that up.
Yeah.
But yes,
and that's that process, Jackie. That's that process that we just talked about. And Pastor gave like 10 steps or ways that would help us to communicate and reflect on ourselves and then how we participate in unforgiveness. But as we forgive people, we heal ourselves, and that's important to know. We restore our ability to find peace and happiness, and that's what it's about. So in addition to spiritual and emotional benefits of forgiveness, which there are many, research shows that better physical health, healthier cardiovascular response to stress, lower rates of cardiovascular disease. Forgiving others helps your mind and body. You can believe that. And sometimes that requires professional help. Sometimes that requires godly counsel. Whatever it takes and whatever is necessary for you to move forward, then you get those things, you get that help, you seek that help so that you can move forward and live your life, not in the past, but in the present for the future.
Yes. And that's it.
Yeah. So we just thank you. for
And it's a
listening.
process. That's why
right.
it's the process
Yeah.
of forgiveness. And guys, we have to put those things in practice. God, we thank you for joining
Thank you
us
so much.
today. So, just go head over to YouTube and subscribe.
Most
Share
definitely.
with your
Most
families.
definitely.
We're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be.
That's right. We want you to like our Facebook page, as we told you at the top of the show, at Get Fit with Jackie Fitness, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Help Matters Jackie and Coach. And when you're on that YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you like, make sure you share. But we just, again, thank you for listening to Help Matters right here every Saturday at 9 a.m.
And guys, remember, we're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. We like to leave you with 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Guys, you have a blessed and happy, blessed New Year's. Let it go in 2024.
Happy
We
New
love
Year.
you guys. Your health matters. We're going to see you guys in 2024, guys, because your health still matters.
Be well.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, get up. Cause you tune into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual need. Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, no positive attitudes, behavior that's a lifelong dream goal. Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be. Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.